Hello guys, today I've set up a stupid little tutorial thing on how Python works, going through variables, functions, inputs, and statements. This should do a decent showcase on how this works. So yeah, basically, starting off, we'll talk about variables. You can make it so that so the thing that you're actually creating is on the left hand side, and then what you want it to be is on the right hand side. So A is 1, B is cheese, C is 0.3, D is true, and E is ABC. So these first four right here, these are all different. So this one's an integer, this one is a bunch of characters, this one's a float, and this one's a boolean. And this is just for future usage, don't worry about that. Anyways, there are many ways you can utilize these to the best of their capabilities. And yeah, these don't really matter in the eyes of the functions. So if we just scroll down over here, then you can see that we're defining the function, which is called sus, and these are what and these are what we're calling the variables in the function. We're calling them x and y. So we have this new variable that is being created specifically for the purpose of this function, which is z, which is x plus y, and then we return z, which will equal results over here, as you can see, because we call the function and then we put in the two variables that we want, because these correspond directly, kind of like an alias or a nickname. Anyway, now we have this really inefficient printing heaven over here, where we utilize concatenation. This is just for fun, honestly. I should probably make it its own section. There we go, printing heaven. Anyway, this will print A, and then this means that it will concatenate, and then it'll print A as a string. And this is important because if there's any string in if there's any string at all during this concatenation, then you have to make it into a string. And I did this with all of the variables A through D. To be honest, I don't even really need it here, so I can just cut it out entirely, and it'll still work perfectly fine. And then I have it print the final one, which is just the result. And I'll just talk about inputs while just think about all this other stuff. So you remember E up here, right? Well, we just use it back again down here, and we say, oh, by the way, this is a while statement, or loop, iteration, whatever you want to call it. I should really just call this iterations. There we go. But yeah, while E isn't 24, which, mind you, is in integer. E equals an integer input, and then it asks, or then it puts text saying 11 plus 13, and basically just a math equation right here. And this does equal 24. Here, I'll show you what happens if you actually start this up. So as you can see, it does all the printing stuff from printing heaven. It prints A, which is 1, B, which is cheese, C, which is 0.3, D, which is true, and then it combines A and C to give you 1.3 because of the function. And now it's asking me what 11 plus 13 is, which is 24. Oh yeah, here, I'm just going to answer it wrong now. It doesn't matter how many times you do it. It doesn't matter what you put in. It doesn't really matter at all. All that matters is that the output turns out to be 24 and then something happens. As you can see here. Don't worry about all this other stuff here. Just ignore it entirely. Because now we're going to actually speak about how iterations work. So there are several types of iterations, and there's a lot more I should probably be covering, but this is all you need to know for now. There's while loops, there's if statements, and yeah, the while statements just perform repeatedly until this is true. Or until this is not true. I'm sorry. While the if statements are only a one-time use, unless used with a while statement beforehand. And yes, this colon is necessary. So, as you can recall over here, D is true. So, if D is not true, then it'll print that D is not true. And then it'll set A to 2, which would break the loop. It'll also print A, but that's beside the point. That's just for visual purposes of how it works. And then I have an else if statement right here saying that if B is equal to cheese, then D is false and to print D. Which, because A is still 1, has the... Once this right here is finished, it loops all the way back and it checks, is A equal to 1? Yes. Is D not true? It is not. So it prints this and turns A to 2. And since it actually performed this statement right here, it's not capable of performing this one. And that's because this loop is now broken, and D would still be false anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, hopefully that explains it. Here's the visuals for that last section, just in case you weren't sure. Yeah. Just let me know if you want any more of these stupid little tutorial things. They're kind of fun to make, I guess. Not that hard to make at all. If there's any questions, concerns, or anything like that, just address in the comments. Nah, if you don't mind me, I'm just gonna go sleep.